The views and opinions expressed on this station do not reflect the owners, management, staff, clients, or partners. Medical House presents Bermuda's most viewed and listened to talk show. The Daily Hour starts now.
It's Monday, the 19th day of October. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman, along with Carla Zool. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. If you haven't already, please share the link, start a watch party. Just get the conversation out there to your network. We should be having a good one for you today as we get our week started with another brilliantly talented Bermudian, Brittany Cox. She'll be stopping by. She's saying she's got a new series called Bermudian Quizine. So check this one out. The Daily Play is a Who Said It. So Carla is guessing a famous quote. Carla?
New week, I'm gonna kill it.
Well, you've been on. You have a quite the record lately. So you should be. Well, you got this winning way about you now. I'm expecting big things. You know, the expectations a bit higher these days. So I think I speak for many when I say, hey, let's keep it going. Let's keep it rocking. But a lot going on this weekend. Some tragedies in Bermuda. Families are mourning, and definitely condolences to everyone out there who has been impacted by the tragedies that have happened. One of the things that stood out to me was, and I know you've discussed this for years, Carla, but I don't think we've had a conversation about it on this show. But um, it's not a Bermudian thing either before we even start talking about it. But the idea that people are so quick to share things on social media and next of kin haven't necessarily been made aware. This is a concern, but how do we stop it? You know, I mean, is it, is it that big of a concern, or is it just the times we're living in?
Well, I've been told that this is just the way that this generation communicates. As a longtime journalist, I do believe in letting people know stuff. I don't believe when it comes to people passing, because people have family all over the world. And I remember, especially during the shootings, this was becoming a prevalent thing. And people like, this is just how this generation communicates. And I'm not going to blame just the young people, because older people do it too as such. But apparently it's just the times. And that answer will never be satisfactory for me. Never.
Yeah, I'm glad you cleaned that up, talking about, because when you began, you said generational thing, but I think you're not talking about age when you speak of generation. I think you're more talking about the times we're living in. It's just acceptable, and it's where we are. But I really hope that good conscience does prevail, because it must be so hard finding out through social media bad news. You know.
Let me share this with you real quick. I had a friend out here in the UK whose brother was murdered. Brother lives in the UK as well. He was on holiday. Someone hit him up and said, "My condolences on your brother." He was like, "What are you talking about?" And it was all over social media. Now, this is in the same country, but the information came out of Bermuda. Like, that's deep to me. And he said, "I hope that no one ever has to learn of their loved ones passing like I did." And I know of a few different examples, but in the same country, but yet hearing it from another. And people don't seem, I mean, you can say RIP fallen soldier or whatever the case may be, but to name them or to give a hint in which it lets people know who it is, there's nothing savory about that for me. Nothing.
Yeah, and again, you mentioned sharing names, but even you can put something, and one thing, I don't think I'm in any sort of chat groups where I can't trust the other people. But if we all think like that, right? And you send voice notes, and then your voice gets sent around, and are we living in times where we can't even trust those closest to us?
No joke. I have a rule. I don't put anything in a voice note that I'm not afraid to get out in public domain. Because even just recently in my family chat, someone posted something. I received it 3 times, and it was in our chat, and the person probably didn't send it out, and it wasn't anything malicious, thankfully. But it was just like, wow, we knew where it's different when you know where it originates from.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, girl, I don't remember thinking that saying that Jamal could share that with, and he might have been sharing it with his cousin. I don't put anything that I don't want out there in a voice note. I'll call you, but I'm not putting it in a voice note.
Yeah, it's something. I want to see what the audience thinks. What do you all think? Have and speaking generationally, we're not talking about age, more or less the times we're living in. Has it become more acceptable to share, um, you know, information rather than waiting on the official, press releases by the authorities or waiting on the news to report it? Have we become everyone wants to be first. Everyone wants to like, how do we get across this? Because it's not cool. I mean, as Carla mentioned, I don't even want to imagine being in that space where you're finding out something like this through the news, right? Sean Smith says it's the worst way to find out. Um, Sherilyn Pringle says it's not a Bermudian thing, but our social media communities are different because of our size and close knit family community. Kathy Bromby says, yes, a very sad way to find out. Nia Williams, technology at one's fingertips overshadows the discerning mind. It's said. Yeah, and I think, living in this technological age, that's definitely, it's not an excuse, but it's a reflection of the behaviors of people. It's almost like everyone wants to be first to share info. Yeah, and that's what I just said. It seems like, even when you look at some news mediums, people just want to be first. It's not about being accurate, right? It's about being first. And when we do that, we lose a sense of the human element. And I don't know. It's bad, man. It's bad.
And it's kind of scary because it makes you wonder if this is what's going on in 2020. Imagine how bad it's going to be 10, 15 years down the road when technology advances. Because I mean, before it was a tax, not a tax. What's this thing called? A pager. You send a page, or back then, or we got a little more evolved. A tax. What is it going to be? A son? Not a what? I was gonna say a sonogram. What do you call those things? Where you can send it and it looks like a picture, a hologram.
Well, I don't know, Carla, because I think we're right now we're living in extremely liberal times in terms of freedoms and so on, and I do think that that's coming to a head. I think as technology evolves, there will be more laws that come in place, and these laws will not necessarily be to restrict people's freedoms, but they will be to protect people. And I think it reminds me of when black people used to be supporters of the Republican Party, and over time with Lyndon B. Johnson and JFK became supporters of the Democratic Party. I see these cycles, coming full circle. I do. So I think as technology evolves, you're going to see more laws put in place, and they will be used to be put in place to protect people rather than to restrict people. So yeah, go ahead.
I have my phone set up now to where, because it's not just words, it's images as well, and sometimes gruesome images. So I have my WhatsApp set up that no picture automatically downloads, because I don't even know where people get the concept that I want to see somebody splattered on the ground or whatever accident, from wherever in the world. So I have my phone defaulted that only I can control when it comes to my phone, because that's traumatizing.
It is. Yes. Dawn, Carla.
Of late, people even post pictures of the deceased when saying SIP to someone before the official naming. It annoys me to no end.
Adeline Stevenson Swan.
I agree. If I don't mind it to be shared, I'll send a voice note. Otherwise, I'm not sending a voice note, period. Oh no. I'm not sure if it's technology on my side. Can you not do a comment just in case it's on Jamal's side so I can send him a message? One of us are frozen. I'm not sure who. Okay. Give me a quick sec. Technology. So I'm in the seat. So what do you guys think? Well, okay, no worries. It's usually me. But how are they getting these pictures? Well, it happens sometimes because I remember there was a murder in Bermuda, and the young man hadn't been passed away for no longer than maybe 20 minutes, and pictures were circulating all over the place. And it's just like, I don't want to see that. And people say, take a look, take a look. No, because if that was my child, no, I just think that yeah, I see everyone. That is Jamal. We're still on, so we're gonna keep going. Jamal was sorted out because Jamal's just good like that. So we'll keep going. Let's test how good I am today. So so let's hear your comments, guys. I mean, yes, the pictures are very insensitive. I have this thing now. If I'm gonna announce that someone, when I say announce, I may say rest in peace to a family suffering right now. And I literally put in my statuses, and don't ask me who it is. And I mean that because I even remember a few years ago, a young man was murdered in Bermuda, and his sibling found out through social media. That's when it first started to come out. And it was just like, how could you people not have any sort of remorse? I don't want to see that. And I said this years ago when I worked for government as a public affairs officer, and it was around 2010. And I said, listen, the laws need to be changed. There is something called social media, and people are starting to get really, really nasty. And I'll be honest, I've done some statuses. I've never, when I say blasted anyone, I've always spoken my truth. So I'll talk about me or my situation, but I would never get up there and say, you know, Jamal's a thief, Jamal's a crook. I've seen some statuses that have made me cringe. I could never do that to someone. Now, we could go at it in person or, you know, one-on-one, but never. And I think that Bermuda really needs to rethink its social media laws and put more teeth into it, because the way that they malign people sometimes is so irresponsible. So James says, let's not forget those persons whose names or pics are sent as having passed, and it's not true. And the mother or sister has seen this on Facebook or WhatsApp. And I did see Manuela John say the same thing. And Amanda says, my cousin was in a fatal accident, and that happened to him. David says, I'm on a if you didn't tell me, then I don't know kick. Sherry says, I don't even post on someone's wall condolences until I've seen it posted. And Robert says, I love modern technology. Sometimes it's used for good, and a lot of the time it's for not so good. Tafari Fountain, this is not a new thing. Before social media, people would hop on the phone and call people just to be the first to share the news. It's major now because it spreads faster. But I think, and this is the last part, Tafari, that's so important, and images are attached. And I think that's different. It's the whole visual part of it that is a problem. I do not want to see anyone spread out in the road. True story. I was at Dandytown in Bermuda. There was a road fatality up in Paget/Warwick. I got the call. I went over there in the 10, 15 minutes, James, I wasn't speeding, that it took me to get up to there. I had received the picture of this dead man's body at least 3 times. And I get it, people, you know, as a journalist, you get scoops and stuff, but I never want to see someone like that. And I think that it's so disrespectful. So we're going to go to the news in a minute. I will still do my newscast. But let me read Bobby's post. Social media has turned many into insensitive cyber monsters. Folks want to be first instead of being right. Said you all need to watch The Social Dilemma. I started to watch that a few days ago, you know, and I got distracted. But Jamal's clearly working on the technology. Let me check a message from him. I think he's lost power, maybe, guys, because my message hasn't even gone through. So we will not panic. You guys are going to help me get through this hour, right? And as always, our show is brought to you from the wonderful people at Medical House and Linders. So it's 12:15. Shall I do the news or shall we chat a little longer? You guys tell me. You guys can control the show today until Jamal comes back. Okay. Our moral compass has declined significantly, says Amanda. And Amanda, I totally agree. And I think also with me, because I'm a journalist, people think, no, I can't do anything because he controls everything from Florida. I am in the UK. That's why I had a lean sting still there, but we're gonna coast through, okay, guys, because Carla is no punk, as you know. And did you guys know, if you haven't known, I am so proud of myself. I got my results back, and I officially have a master's degree in public relations. Thank you for everyone who has sent me warm messages and greetings. And you know what's weird? I haven't really celebrated because it feels weird, but I did it, you all. I didn't care if I passed by 1%. I did it. So I am now open for freelance opportunities for anywhere in the world if you would like to hire me. But let's do the news, okay? And Medical House and Linders, thank you very, very much for your support. And guys, thanks for hanging with me, because as you know, technology can sometimes be a pain in the butt. So we don't have the sound effect, James, so I'll do it for you. Do, 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 do. You not know I love me, so I crack myself up, okay? A tragic 72 hours in Bermuda as the island recorded its fourth and fifth road fatalities of 2020. On Thursday evening, a 47-year-old riding a motorcycle was involved in a collision with a car at the junction of Town Hill Road and Harrington Sound Road. He subsequently was conveyed to hospital, but sadly succumbed to his injuries. On Friday night, police received a report of a single vehicle collision involving a motorcycle in the area of Winreach and Warwick. Upon arrival, they found a 45-year-old man lying in an unresponsive state on the roadway. Unfortunately, he was pronounced dead by an emergency room doctor early Saturday morning. The Daily Hour extends its deepest sympathies to the families of both men. Meanwhile, the World Gazette reporting a Texan billionaire stands accused of using a family charitable trust based in Bermuda to hide assets in what may be the largest tax evasion case against an individual in U.S. history. Robert Brockman, 79, was charged with multiple counts of tax evasion, money laundering, failing to file foreign bank account reports, wire fraud, affecting a financial institution, evidence tampering, and his 79, let's see how long he goes to jail for, destruction of evidence, and other crimes in an indictment filed in a San Francisco court. Mr. Brockman pleaded not guilty in an appearance via Zoom in federal court in the Northern District of California on Thursday. Prosecutors claim that Mr. Brockman used a web of entities based in Bermuda and Nevis, as well as bank accounts in Bermuda, Switzerland, and the British Virgin Islands to hide income from private equity investments from the IRS, the U.S. tax authority. Mr. Brockman is Chief Executive Officer of Reynolds & Reynolds, an Ohio-based vendor of management software for auto dealerships. The World Gazette is also reporting a bid to expand Bermuda's prison libraries has been launched. Renee Ming, the National Security Minister, said the prison system contained a lot of keen readers who would benefit from donations of new books. Ms. Ming said the book drive would run for the rest of this month and November. She praised the prison service for the idea, as well as island bookstores that agreed to take part in the scheme. Ms. Ming said members of the public could visit the bookmark or the Griot this month and next month to buy a book for any of the prison service institutions. Thanking the community in advance, she added that the book should be left at the stores for collection by prison service personnel. Now, guys, as you know, for the days of the year, there are usually many, but this one to me really touched me for different reasons, okay? October 19th is Evaluate Your Life Day. The time comes in every life where we have to take an accounting, a reckoning of the things we've done, the progress we've made, and the path we're on. During that evaluation, we may find that we don't like where we are and want to make changes to move forward with our goals. Maybe you'll find that you're making the progress you wanted to and everything is moving along smoothly. Most likely, it'll wind up somewhere in between. Whatever the case, evaluate your life day is a great opportunity to figure out where you are on your path. Turning to weather, with a mix of sun and clouds, the high today in Bermuda is expected to reach 81, 74 in Atlanta, and 55 in Birmingham, UK. And don't forget, you guys notice I can almost do this off the top of my head because I read it every day. Let me try it. Big props to Medical House, who is your number one source of PPE supplies, masks, face shields, hi boo, you're back, disinfectants, sanitizers, gloves, gowns, no-touch thermometers, and so much more at the lowest prices. Visit Medical House today at 22 Mill Reach Lane in Pembroke. And it's Reggae Mondays all day on the 4100 radio. Don't miss the mix with Juggle and Jason from 12 to 3 p.m. Bermuda time. That's your daily hour news break. We did it. It's back. Hi.
Perfect. Look at that. I was just trying to test you, see if you could get it done. She didn't disappoint, folks. Look, what I miss in the news, though, real fast?
The fatalities. A 79-year-old man hid lots and lots of money in Bermuda, Switzerland, Nevis. He'll probably get about 3 months, you know that, in a posh jail. And what else? The prison service. They want to bulk up the libraries because... Hold
on. Before we even take a break and bring Brittany in, you just said somebody made a lot of money in Switzerland and all these places. It wasn't legal?
No, he hid it. He hid the money so that he wouldn't have to pay the IRS. So it looks like it's the biggest individual fraud case against an American in U.S. history.
So
he'll get an easy deal.
I thought he hit the lottery. My apologies.
And today is Evaluate Your Life Day. I thought it was very fitting. So just, take some risk up, take a breath, and keep on trucking, guys.
Evaluating life. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with Brittany Cox. And actually, before we even do that, she has this very entertaining series, which I think Carla likes. Carla, you're a foodie, right?
I'm a non-foodie. I'm a foodie that don't like foods. Yes, that's me.
Yeah.
This series is the bomb.
Okay, so let's play this before we go to a break, and just so people have an idea of what we're going to be talking to her about. How about that?
Raisin bread?
I don't want your bread.
You can ask for raisin bread. I don't want raisin.
Where's these plates?
What's this? This is an and of a piece. They gave me an and. 3, 2, 1.
Sing David seafood. Is this a joke? Oh, you just sing?
You getting excited?
We are one.
We are one, you and I.
What's a mountain?
Do we get napkins?
Oh yeah, you definitely got napkins. Let me get some napkins.
I think we're just gonna go raisin on the really upset.
No pomegranates! No pomegranates!
I want to turn to my chair. Leave it alone.
Oh, there you go.
You were trying to wake them up.
She's your queen to be.
We're going to have Brittany Cox from Bermudian Quizine coming up right after this break. Carla, you didn't tell me it was money laundering, but we'll get to that when we get back.
Good day, Medical House Doris speaking. Can I help you?
Medical House is Bermuda's leading one-stop shop for healthcare.
Medical House is a great resource for Leroy. The service is excellent.
Medical House is best known for its uniforms and footwear. It has hundreds of styles of scrubs and nurses' uniforms for health professionals. Bermuda's top doctors, dentists, care homes, and the hospital choose Medical House for a wide range of products. These same professional quality products are available to you for home health care.
The biggest reason to come see us is that we specialize in these areas
and the education and knowledge that we provide.
Medical House is on Millreach Lane in Pembroke, where there's private parking right outside the door. Call or visit Medical House today.
This month, we're featuring Evian Natural Spring Water, brought to us by John Barrett & Son. Evian water is among the best-known bottled mineral waters on the market and was one of the first, originating at sources on the south shore of Lake Geneva almost 2 centuries ago. It's good to know also that Evian has instituted extensive water management projects on 3 continents, working as the Evian Water Protection Institute to help address one of the world's major ongoing issues: access to safe, abundant water for all. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Welcome back to the big show. So let me tell you what happened before you bring Brittany. I'm a bit behind time, so we'll go over. But the electricity went out. And what's crazy is I never have my phone on Wi-Fi. So I unless I'm traveling internationally, I never use Wi-Fi. I have T-Mobile, so we have those privileges. So I went and I tried to use my hotspot, and I didn't have cell phone service. So that's my backup. Whenever Wi-Fi goes out, I have that backup, and everything just seemed to just go against it. So needless to say, this is why you have people that can hold it down when you slip, fall, and you can keep going. Let me give a big shout out to our dear protege as well, Jackie. She'll be back with us soon. Don't worry. I see people asking. Jack is all right. You know, she's just watching from afar, laughing at my Wi-Fi going out, and like most of you. But without further ado, let's bring in Brittany Cox. She's quite the entertainer, and I'm sure this is going to be interesting. I do. Carla, you think she'll sing for us?
Brittany will sing for me. For her auntie Carla, she loves me. She will sing.
All right, let's get on the conversation. Hello, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thanks. I mean, you know, I heard Carla and Jackie, so I thought, well, it shouldn't be too hard getting you to join us. And yeah, thank you. It's early. We've had a bit of technical challenges, but whatever man makes has the opportunity to break, and these things happen. So thank you for trusting us to do this. Yeah, let's get straight to the conversation. Bermudian Quizine. I want to touch on that first and foremost. How did the concept come about? Because it's brilliant, and if no one has ever seen it, we're gonna share some of the links with you after this show, like we did last week with the Adventures of Rez. But how did you guys come up with this concept?
We honestly came up with it during.
We're having a bit of Brittany. We're having a bit of technical challenges. The internet. It's actually. Are you able to sign out and sign back in?
Yeah, sure.
All right, no problem. Sorry about that.
No problem.
It's okay, folks. This is technology. It happens. So hopefully we'll get it back on and we'll be good to go. But Bermudian Quizine. So just put a I and N and E after quiz. Call it. Let me ask you a question while we wait on Brittany. I'm going to give you before we bring her back in, I'm going to give you a Bermudian Quizine. Mr. Chicken or KFC?
Oh, it depends.
No, that's not, you can't play like that.
KFC because I like the coleslaw. Mr. Chicken because I like the corn muffins.
This has nothing to do with the sides. I'm asking you, but and you know what? Let's bring Brittany back.
KFC.
Bringing Brittany back in this. Brittany, I'm so sorry about that. You see how she plays? This is. I'm sorry, Brittany. We were talking because Carla's not a straight shooter. She's not just trying to play friends because she has a cousin that works at KFC and then her uncle that works at Mr. Chicken, and she don't want to upset nobody at Christmas dinner. But anyway,
I get it.
Brittany's not like that. You gotta see how she chose a fish sandwich. Anyway, Brittany, how did the concept come about? Talk to us.
Yeah. So I was saying that it came about during quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
We just realized that our conversation together about stuff is funny. And we were trying and experimenting with a lot of things in the kitchen. So we were just trying to come up with different ideas. I'm like, why don't we do a YouTube show while we're bored in the house? Oh. And so we initially had this idea to do a cooking show because my boyfriend's a chef. But That didn't come through. I'm sorry, one second.
No problem.
That didn't pull through.
Mm-hmm.
And so, no problem. And so we ended up kind of thinking of that. We actually went on YouTube and looked at a lot of shows that already exist.
Uh-huh.
And we found this show called Good Mythical Morning. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
And we just thought that it would be cool to make like a Bermudian version of that. And so that's how it pretty much came about.
I remember, I think I saw a tweet. Someone must have retweeted it where someone was like, Bermudian Cuisine coming soon. And I think it may have been you explaining, don't worry about the spelling of it. Just stay tuned. Or because people might have been like, did she spell cuisine wrong?
Yep. I had a few people message me like, you know that you spelled cuisine wrong, right? I'm like, it was on purpose.
What you meant?
I mean, yeah, that was going to come with the territory. But the content is brilliant. It's brilliant. And I just want to know, how have you developed relationship with companies and organizations to grow this series further?
That's actually a good question because we actually sat down over the weekend, me and Keo, Fresh Kid, and our producers to talk about that. So today, actually, right after this, we're about to send out a lot of emails to different companies to try to get some support because we didn't realize how much money we were going to spend every week on, food in Bermuda is expensive as it is. So to buy 6 different meals from 6 different restaurants and to then have it filmed and edited, it's becoming really expensive. So we're in the process now of, now that we know that it's catching on and people like it, we can now reach out to companies to be like, hey, help us.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So Britt, as you've been recording, what has been the most rewarding thing about the experience so far?
Honestly, just creating something for myself is rewarding to me because, Aunt Carla knows how I am. Like, I don't really like how the system is, like coming to work, working 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. It's just not something that I want to do. And so I'm just trying to build my own brand and build something for myself. So that's the rewarding part of it for me.
Now, I have to ask you this, right? Because I retweeted your thing last night and I was like, oh, I would love to do this, but I don't like mayonnaise, mayo, watermelon, blah, blah. I went through my whole. People like, are you for real? What is your favorite food and why?
Oh my gosh. I would say that it changes. So for some reason this week I'm on Chinese food. I have had chicken fried rice for like 4 nights straight with mini egg rolls on the side. And so yeah, I don't know why, but my appetite changes on like a 2-week basis. So like for 2 weeks straight, I'll eat the same thing. It's really weird. So yeah, this week is Chinese.
And what's your worst?
I tweeted about this the other day. I don't know if it's considered like actual food. It's not a meal, but I don't like candy at all.
Oh, I saw that tweet that you've never eaten candy.
Yeah, I've never had candy. Like I've never even tried it. Only cotton candy. That's it. That's the only thing I've really tried.
That's not candy.
It's sugar. It's sugar.
It's sugar, yeah.
But that just means you had a very probably good upbringing as far as your teeth being taken care of. Because I couldn't, or like what's those things? Juice boxes. We weren't allowed to have those when I was younger.
Yeah.
So people would be like, that was normal to some people. It wasn't to me. It was a privilege to sleep over a friend's house and drink,
juice box.
or something like that.
That's funny. Yeah, I didn't have any cavities growing up, so.
Yeah, I still don't have one yet, I don't think.
Brittany has Kiki didn't have candy until she was 4.
Mm-hmm.
And she's never had a cavity, but that is awesome. I think that you are an anomaly. How do you say that word?
Anomaly.
Hold on, Carla. Brittany, just tell me the range. What range are you in terms of age?
I am in the 25 to 35.
Okay, that's fine. How are you going to compare giving a 4-year-old candy to someone 25 to 35? Woman.
She's now 19. And so she's like on the back end of Brittany's generation. And she didn't have candy until she was 4. But once she
point, you said until 4. I could understand if you said 24.
Really? I rate you, but you don't even like say, oh my gosh, let me just try that. You just doesn't tempt you at all?
Yeah, I don't know. It's something about it that's like, I don't know, it's going to sound bizarre, but this gross to me. I don't know if it's like the stickiness or I don't know, the textures of it. It just doesn't appeal to me.
Funny. So back to cuisine, right? Quick questions. Hopefully, restaurants come on board, but in a certain way, they're also kind of taking a risk because I died when you guys were testing something and you was like, I don't mean to be rude, but it tastes foreign or something. Do they understand that these will be just honest reviews and maybe risking having their chef's feelings hurt?
You know what? I've had a lot of them actually like the posts or like the Instagram stories and stuff. So I think that they're being good sports about it. Yeah, and like, I just buzz and swizzle, but there's also a lot of stuff on their menus that I love. So, it's not going to be all bad. I'll definitely bring on things to put them in a good light as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jamal, I don't know if you know, but Brittany is a rapper. She's a singer, right? She actually wrote the, what would you call it? The PLP theme song this year.
The jingle, yeah.
She wrote that. But so Brittany did this cipher. You know what a cipher is? I gotta ask you, Jamal, because I don't know how hip you are. You know what a cipher is?
You said she wrote a cipher?
She was in a cipher. Do you know what that is?
No.
You're serious? I tell you, and he's older than me, Brittany. But anyway, right?
A lot of people don't know what it is.
It's when different artists, they rap or they freestyle to the same beat. So you see BET Awards.
I know, but I like the singing part of Brittany. Call me old. I'm just not into rap, so go ahead.
This is where I'm going. So she was such a good girl. She'd have 8 candy. So she's a good girl. So she did this paper, and she swore, but she's such a good girl. She didn't swear. She spelt it. And I teased her for years over, but the cipher was awesome. But one rapper spells the word. Only Brittany, because she never had candy, it all makes sense. But leading into that, Britt, can you please, I'm going to give you a challenge. I want you to sing for us or free verse about your favorite food. Go.
Oh my
she
goodness.
Put you on the spot like that, boy.
She put me on the spot. Oh my gosh, can I just sing one of my songs? That's a lot of pressure. Okay, so this is one of my new songs. It's called Virago. It's on iTunes. It's featuring another Bermudian artist called Scandalous. So this is how it goes. Don't dance when I'm out. You do it for clout. Pour the Henny all in my mouth. I don't dance when I'm out. So yes, go stream that on iTunes.
What's it called again?
It's called Virago. So Virago means a strong, fierce woman. Mm-hmm. Its original term, because over the years it's apparently turned into something negative, but its original term was a strong, fierce woman. And Abby and I are strong, fierce women, so we thought it was a perfect title.
Well, thank you for letting me know what it means, because I'm quite honest. Dictionary.com is my best friend, and when people words I don't know what they mean, I immediately go visit my friend for that. I must say I have seen some of your songs outside of Bermuda Quizine, and I am impressed. I was watching you one day, right? No lie, I was watching you one day, and it's interesting. Carla mentioned the rap and the singing. And I was expecting a song because I had come across you singing before on social media. And then you broke out in rap, and I was like, is this the same lady, or is she like, you took me by surprise. But I want to speak to you about that, because there are so many talented Bermudians. Obviously you being another one. What are you hoping, to do with this career? You mentioned something earlier, and I know Carla and I speak about this often, about the 9 to 5. What do you hope you can do with your talent beyond Bermuda?
I hope that at some point I can use it as a stream of revenue. I hope that I don't have to work. Like when I say work, I hope I don't have to work a traditional 9 to 5, and that I can just make money from my music. So I'm just going to keep streaming it, pushing it on YouTube and iTunes, and just hope that one day the right person sees it.
Mm-hmm. I'm got, like, you've given me a lot to cheer you about today, because I really want to see the Bermuda Quizine thing go. I mean, I think it's brilliant. If I were certain organizations, I'd be jumping all over this, because one of the things you're doing that's unique is you're actually sharing beyond the shores of Bermuda some of the things that we find fun, like the differences between our foods. The whole thing about raisins was just classic to me.
Yes.
But let me. I don't know the gentleman you do. Is that the fresh kid person you mentioned?
Yes.
Okay, so can I tell you something on behalf of gentlemen?
Yes.
If the brother says he don't eat burgers, he eats them up.
Who doesn't cheeseburgers though? Like weird.
He eats cheeseburgers. Okay, I'm seeing him eat plenty of them.
She showed them up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that just means you have to go and watch the episode. Because she put him on. He's like, yeah, I don't really eat burgers. She's like, yes, you do eat burgers. What? I haven't had a burger. Yes, you do eat burgers. It was like the best thing ever.
But you know what killed me? And I won't mention the venue. But he said, oh, I like from her. You said that's flat, and then I was no more good. I was like, wasn't expecting that.
Yes,
No,
and I
brilliant. Go ahead.
And I also want to say a shout out to my editor because I feel like he's a genius. His name is Kalai. It's who is your producer on Instagram. He produces all my music as well. But he's just a comedic genius when it comes to placing the memes and all that stuff.
Is he Bermudian? Is he in Bermuda?
Yep, he's 100% Bermudian. You can book him. You can book in his studio to record all that.
Nice. Okay, and just let people know now, like, how can they find Bermudian Cuisines on YouTube and find you on social media? How can we support?
So it is at Bermudian Quizine on Instagram. My page is at Bricks the Artist on Instagram. And then we just created a Twitter page that's Bermudian Cuisine. Sorry, it's Bermuda Cuisine. And my Twitter is Bricks BDA. Sorry, it's a lot.
No worries. Well, what do me this favor, Brittany. Once we're off air, please send me an email of everything that we can share on our social media, so that we can make sure our audience continues to get behind you. We have some people. You've got some fans out here. Tamaricious and well, okay, I can see why 9 to 5 hasn't got you. What a talent!
Thank you.
Baby Don Rocco says, multi-talented for sure. Beautiful voice. Nikki Michelle, Brittany, it is very possible to not be a starving creative. Stay true to yourself and your vision. Love your work ethic. So keep going.
Thank you.
We've got people and we're here for you. So if there's anything we can do, just let us know. And yes, please send that so we can share it. All right.
I will. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Thanks for coming.
Bye, Aunt Carla.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this on Carla. So Carla, we know you made a comment earlier, and please do not ever tell people I'm older than you. Oh my goodness! I mean,
you didn't know what a cipher was, Jamal. I don't watch BET, but when they have the awards, I do watch it because I like these ciphers. You know, when they rap and then it goes to the next person. You never seen a cipher?
No. Look, this brother. I'm just not into rap. I'm not. I don't watch hip hop shows. That's not me. I mean, maybe
I don't watch BET, but I do watch the awards.
Yeah, you couldn't like.
I'm an aspiring rapper. You know what I am.
No, but she's talented, man. I mean, I think Bermuda has a lot of gems like Brittany, and we just need to support them. With that kind of talent, as was mentioned, a 9 to 5. Woof. On that note, so Carla.
Mm-hmm.
You have this master's degree now, and all these people will congratulate you. So what's next for you in terms of you have this piece of paper and now what?
Well, I've been freelancing the whole time. So I've made everything official, registered my company here in the UK. I have one in Bermuda, and I'm just going to be open to freelance projects. I do have a big project coming up in February, which I'm keeping low key for now. But I'm just pushing my creative side, and I am going to make a living off of it, and that's why I picked the what today is, reflect on your life day, because once I got those results on Friday, life has shifted again, and I'm like, okay, living who you are unapologetically. I found lately I've been muting myself, but I'm about to really shine.
What do you mean mute yourself? Why do you have to mute yourself?
You want the real answer to that?
I
know, but you know how I get. I've always been very vocal when people misunderstand that sometimes. So people make judgments that are so solidified in their minds. What do you always tell me? Perceptions of people's reality. And so I think it had dulled my spirit a bit. But now I'm just, and again, I'm 46. I love it. I revel in it. I'm ready to live the second half of my life unapologetically, professionally.
Second part of your life?
Well, because women generally live to be 80, according to statistics. I plan on living to be 100, but technically I've lived half my life. So I need to live full in who I am. And then I also felt not having that held me back in certain ways. So now when I do proposals and stuff, there are no excuses, because people sometimes do personal as opposed to professional. So I have my qualifications, my experience. There are no excuses unless I'm just simply not good enough.
Fair enough. I mean, you mentioned just now when I asked you muting yourself, and I think what I try to tell everyone, including yourself, is if people think you're crazy, stupid, that's on them. If people don't like you, that's on them. It's not about muting yourself. It's if at the end of this show every day, I don't wake up. Well, before this show, I don't wake up and say, let me irritate or get on this person's nerves. Let me do this. Let me do that. It's merely trying to, find ways to communicate with people effectively with information that they may not have been able to hear before, or may not be in these conversations. We live in especially with Bermuda, it's a very conservative environment in terms of thought, in terms of law, in terms of policy. So we have to push beyond boundaries to have conversations, uncomfortable conversations, and critical thinking that is not something that's truly normal. That said, it's going to be sound crazy to people at times. It's going to, it's going to be rude or disrespectful. But when you're pushing boundaries in an attempt to better your community, then who gives a, what? I mean, can I say that? No, on TV.
Look at sound effects, please.
But honestly, as long as you're focused on improving, for me, Brittany mentions not doing a 9 to 5. I think that should be everyone's aim, because there's going to come a time really quickly when not having a 9 to 5 is not going to be your choice. Paul Carrick Brunson says, 80% of the jobs we have now are going to be freelance. And I think we need to start preparing for that. I'm going to beat that drum till the cows come home. So I appreciate what you're trying to do with that. But I will say this here. While I congratulate you on your academic achievements and your years of working, never forget that it's always about what you can do to make someone or something better. So at the end of the day, your track record must state that if I worked with Jamal & Co., then you should be able to go into a client and saying, this is what I did for Jamal & Co. And that goes for everyone. Like at the end of the day, I don't even think I put my degrees on my resume anymore. I don't. And people say, why? And why don't I put stuff? Because I think that the achievement, what I've achieved at the companies where I've been, actually stands out more. And then once I get into that interview, then they say, we start talking about academic achievements. Now, people may say, well, that's crazy. Why not? Well, we did this when I was in graduate school. We did I hated group projects for some reason.
Me too.
Group projects, you always get stuck with that one person, right? But I actually put together my group, and my group, I was focused on proving something and they let me lead the group. So it was me. I was Black. We had a guy from the Middle East. We had someone from a Native American young lady. We had an Asian guy from China, basically, and a Latino guy from Costa Rica. So we had a very diverse group, I can't stand that term. But what we were doing was trying to prove the resume argument. And we each had resumes. We created this skit to prove that resume, your name makes a difference. If you don't put your name, like how to get around it. So people instead of putting Jamal, I'd put J. Hartman, because Hartman is a German last name. And then we also did things. We had, the Chinese guy had a different name, how they would do it. And how a lot of the Chinese students at the time would give themselves American names, right? Not their legal name. But one of the standouts to me, what was really interesting through it all was not our names, but the organizations we were involved in. So let's say you were the head of the Black students group at school, or the Latino student groups at school. Those things played a role as well as to how employers looked at you. And it was I tell people that all the time, the resume is literally that one thing to get you the interview, not the job. But we have to be very strategic as to how we do it. And I tell people that once you get in that meeting to have that interview, focus on what that position's requiring, not what you have. And that comes with not just jobs, but even selling yourself to be a contractor with somebody. Focus on what you've done for others, but also what they're looking for. Focus on that more than what you have. It trust me, if you focus on that company and what they're looking for, you'll go a long way. So I expect great things. We're here to support you. And group projects, they were tough, but I always enjoyed them because people always made me the leader of those groups. Yeah.
You know what? It's funny you say what you can do, because I totally forgot because I'm in daily hour mode. But November is the Women's Empowerment Summit. I have 5 years, my 5-year anniversary, and Aunt Corona will not let me be great. So I had big plans, and I've had to scale them down. But I'm excited, and I'm actually doing a certification to become a facilitator in a certain aspect of women's wellness. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things that I'm very passionate about, is the well-being of women. So I'm hoping to have 100 women in the space via Zoom. So I'm just building and growing.
My hands up. You know where I'm going.
Well, here's the funny thing though, right? When I have my lives, which I'll be resuming shortly, and it's women only, I know that women have men in the background listening, because then I'll get a message from someone that's like, hey, my mate told me that you ladies was talking about this. I'm like, really? It's supposed to be women only. But you know what? If the message impacts the family as a whole for the better, I'm all for it.
No, I appreciate it. I know I joke all the time, call it the discriminatory group and whatnot. But I think there are times when we need our own groups. And I totally support what you've been doing.
Women in that space I have, Jamal. I'm very proud.
That's good, and I think it's needed. I will never be one to say we don't need those spaces. They're definitely needed, and congratulations to you. Hopefully the summit goes off well, because, like you said, I mean, with this year that we have right now, a lot of people have canceled things, and some have gone to Zoom. So thankfully, you've been creative enough to understand what you need to do from a technological perspective. Nikki Michelle says women statistically lean on getting more education when people attempt to invalidate us. It's a vestige left over from employment structure that we were never meant to fit into. You're enough caller, you always were. For sure. Congratulations on your 5th year of WES. That's Women's Empowerment Summit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was like, Wednesday. I love it. Well, you do have it on Wednesdays, right? Karen Edwards Simmons says, how do we get involved in the Women's Empowerment Summit 2020 via Zoom? So Carla will send you some information on how to do that. And Zena Edwards, safe spaces are critical for healing and growth. Yes, Wes, absolutely. And that's why I'm telling you, like, these spaces, I mean, I commend people that put together stuff like this. They are definitely needed. And when used right, can really make a positive impact in our community.
2 seconds, because one time, but I'll tell you one thing that I discovered with this group. It's a closed group, women from all over the world, but we share, we cry, we laugh, we talk about things that we would never say in public, and never in the 3 years the online group has been together has there been any acrimony. It is a safe space. And if I smell any waver in that, you must go. It's non-negotiable for my women's well-being. I'm proud of that.
On that note, because, you're just a very smart, educated woman, and I think you're trying to get away from that very smart and educated daily play today. So let's get to the daily play. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, she's ready, folks. Here we go. Quote, you know what? I'm going to make it very easy. This is the quote I was going to put. You have to expect things of yourself before you can do them, end quote. but I don't think you would have gotten that one.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a very easy one. Quote, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. End quote.
Michael Jordan.
There you go. See? So who was the first quote by then?
You're going to say that. Say it one more time real quick.
You have to expect things of yourself before you can do them.
Steve Jobs.
Absolutely not.
Who is it?
Michael Jordan. Both of them.
See why I don't like this guy?
The crowd, they're laughing with me too. Everybody laughing at you, Carl. They're all laughing at you.
It's all right.
Yeah, same person, Michael Jordan, both of those. I just felt it was appropriate, with all the comparisons going on. And he's not known for saying a lot. I mean, one of the first times many people in younger generations actually heard Michael Jordan speak was during the pandemic when they had the documentary that came out. So very different quotes, but very decent quotes from arguably, I'm not going to say the greatest, arguably the greatest basketball player ever, because there is a guy named LeBron James. Anybody over 40 that keeps saying Michael this, Michael that, I'll just ask you one thing. If his career began before he won his first championship, you have a point. But if it didn't, shut up. Carla, what you got for us? What you got? Inspiration. We need some more inspiration. Everybody's, you're making people level up, in this Masters game these days.
And if you hear me talk, doctor, just slap me upside my head.
Yeah,
Great
right.
things happen to those who don't stop believing, trying, learning, and being grateful. Roy T. Bennett.
All right. There you go. Great things happen to those kind of folks. Look, we have a great lineup this week, folks. Just to let you know, and when I say we have a great lineup, tomorrow we have Dr. David Chapman. Dr. David Chapman is probably one of the most critical people in terms of making sure that the Daily Hour exists. Without Dr. David Chapman sending me a link one day, we probably would not be giving you such a professional show on a daily basis. So we will have him tomorrow. Supposed to be having the chair of the Chamber of Commerce on, Ms. Kendry Burgess, on Wednesday. Thursday, it looks like we have, we may, I'm not going to say the name, we may have this person, a very instrumental person in Bermuda's tourism product. And then on Friday, this is a big one. On Friday, we have Dr. Derek Binns, who is the head of the formerly civil service known as the public service. So this is a big show because so often we have people with opinions about the public service, civil service workers. And I don't, I've spoken recently about people not understanding how government works. And so I just want, I think this is an important show to get your questions ready and speak with Dr. Derek Binns about how the public service actually works. It should be a good show. So we have a very, very good week with some very great guests coming up. And Carla, any final words before we head out?
Yeah, I just want to extend my condolences again to the families of the two men who we lost Thursday and Friday. My deepest condolences.
Indeed. And also, like I said, Jackie will be back. Jack has just got some time off. She'll be back better and stronger. So we love you, Sister Jack. On that note, we appreciate you. We love you. And we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you. Probably tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning in to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House. All recorded episodes and highlights can be found at thedailyhour.com. Stay connected with us by following us at The Daily Hour on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.